All right, let's dive into something that's trying to fix a huge headache for anyone building software today. There's this new tool called Rhodd, and it's got a pretty bold title, the AI Architect. But what does that really mean? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down.
So this really gets to the core of the problem, doesn't it? We all know AI is getting incredible at writing code. You know, tools like GitHub Copilot, they're amazing at spitting out a function here, a class there. But building a complete production-ready system, that's a whole different ballgame. And it's that giant leap from a small piece of code to a full-blown application that's proving to be the real challenge.
Think about it like this. On one side, you've got these neat little code snippets. That's where most AI assistants live right now. It's their comfort zone. But on the other side, you have full systems. You know, that messy, tangled web of databases, APIs, security, infrastructure, all the stuff that makes an app actually work. And that is where current AI just hits a wall. This struggle has created a really interesting new problem for developers.
And we can call that problem the AI coding paradox. It's this weird situation where we have this unbelievably powerful technology that can write code faster than any human, but trying to actually orchestrate that power across an entire project, well, that's turning into a massive headache. Let's dig into exactly why that is.
Okay, problem number one, context, or a total lack of it. See, an AI coding assistant might be looking at the one file you have open, right? But it's basically blind to the rest of your project. It has no idea how all the different pieces are supposed to connect. So it gives you this suggestion that looks perfect in isolation, but you push it, and bam, you've just broken something somewhere else in the system without even realizing it.
Second big issue is the infrastructure gap. AI is great at writing the application code, the features you see, but it doesn't build the foundation that code needs to stand on. This means engineering teams are still spending days, sometimes even weeks, manually setting up Docker, Kubernetes, CI/CD pipelines. All that cloud plumbing has to be in place before a single line of that AI-generated code can even run.
And then there's a trap that I'm sure a lot of developers have fallen into: vibe coding. You know the feeling. AI can generate code so fast, it feels amazing. You're making progress. But all that unstructured, unguided code often ends up being what you'd call disposable. It works for a quick demo, sure, but it's not scalable, it's not maintainable, and it certainly wasn't built to any kind of professional standard.
And that brings us to the final problem, what I like to call the prompt and pray crisis. The results you get back from AI can feel totally random, so developers are just wasting hours and hours fighting with prompts, trying to sweet-talk the AI into giving them the right output. There's no good way to enforce project standards or get predictable, high-quality results. It's just inefficient and, honestly, super frustrating.
So, after laying all that out, you have to ask, how do we fix this paradox? Well, this is where Rhodd steps in. It's positioning itself not as just another tool that writes code, but as an AI architect, a higher-level orchestration layer that brings some much-needed structure and control back into the process.
So what is Rhodd exactly? The best way to think about it is as a management layer that sits on top of all the AI code generation. You give it a single high-level plan, and it orchestrates everything underneath, the infrastructure, the code, all of it, to build a complete, production-ready system. It's really about shifting from prompting for individual lines of code to planning entire systems. And it does all this based on three core ideas. First, automated infrastructure. The promise here is your team never has to manually set up a server again. Second, what they call blueprint-driven code generation. This is designed to replace that random prompt and pray with predictable, standardized code that follows your rules. And third, AI-powered monitoring, which gives you intelligent insights into how your system is doing once it's actually up and running.
Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but how does it actually work in the real world? Let's walk through the process, from just a simple idea all the way to a fully deployed application.
So it all starts with just one file. A team can define their entire application, all the services, the databases, the networking, in a really straightforward YAML file. Or they can use a simple UI. They just describe what they want to build. And from there, Rhodd acts like the conductor of an orchestra, interpreting that plan and telling all the other tools what to do to build the entire thing automatically. This is where things get really ambitious. The goal is to grow beyond just being a developer tool and become something more like a unified operating system for creating products. Imagine being able to connect the project management ticket, the actual code that was written for it, and the infrastructure it runs on. For the first time, you could see the true cost, in both money and time, of every single feature you built. And that leads to the ultimate goal here: absolute transparency. For anyone in business leadership,
This is huge. It means turning the engineering department, which can often feel like a black box, into a predictable, data-driven process. You could see exactly how much a new feature costs, not just in developer salaries, but in cloud spend and future maintenance, all in real time.
Which brings us to this final, really powerful question. A system driven by AI that actually understands architecture, that automates all the tedious infrastructure setup, that enforces standards, and that gives you complete transparency into the whole process. Is this the future of how we build software? It's a pretty compelling vision, and it's going to be fascinating to see if it becomes our new reality. Thanks for tuning in.